Oh, yeah. Is it Thursday already? Okay. So today we got the thing we've all been waiting for. Season 2 of Andor is getting a Q&A today with the creator himself, Tony Gilroy, and the cast of the show. Yes, I do have a little bit of a cold here. If my voice goes away and I just start sounding like I don't have a voice, well, that's why. Okay, so let's, without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing on this fine Thursday afternoon? Okay, so before we get to any of this stuff, because we'll get to it. Andor season 2 is hype. We're getting really excited. 40 days, 40 days until this second season of Andor premieres. But we got a bit of a channel news here. For weeks now, and it's been quite annoying to me, for weeks, this live sign behind me has been turned off. That's because it broke. But finally, after weeks and weeks of waiting, it's back. Oh, well, that's just fantastic. Okay, so the live sign is back, chat. That is pretty important to me. That's fantastic. So let's start it off right.
This is where the fun begins.
Okay, so before we get into all this Andor Season 2 stuff and the other sort of little bits of news that we have today, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Holly, what is up? 50 Thunder, how we doing? Darth Thor in the house. Neil, how we doing? Kit Fisto, what is up? Starship 66, how we doing? Justin in the house. Rachel, what is up? Star Wars Order, how we doing? Holly, what is up? WUV Grad in the house. Darth Plagueis Lives, what is up? B-Man, how we doing? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so there's a little bit of... Well, first things first, we got a super sticker from Darth Plagueis Lives. Very generous $2 super sticker. I appreciate that quite a bit. Super Chats memberships keep the lights on over here. Finally. Yeah, but so we got a lot to talk about today. Andor Season 2, this whole Q&A starts at 3, so it starts in about 50-something minutes. So we got to talk about just the news itself in the little bit of time that we have until then. And then we're, of course, going to watch it live. So before we get to that, let's just start with a poll. I want to start this stream off with a poll because I'm very interested to see where the hype level for Andor Season 2 is at. With 40 days to go. 40. That's it. April 22nd is the release date. What is our hype level at for Andor Season 2? Now, tell me in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. But we're going to do this. Are you excited for Andor Season 2? Yes or no? If you remember, we were doing these polls all the way leading up to Skeleton Crew. In about maybe 2 months, 1 month in advance to Skeleton Crew, the poll was not very good, let's say. It was about 60-40 people excited for Skeleton Crew, people not excited for Skeleton Crew. However, this is way different. This is a second season to a incredible, critically acclaimed first season of Andor. So I think, and maybe the poll will prove me right, but I think people are more excited for this show than they were for Skeleton Crew. But tell me what you think in the chat. Just a prior notion of how great Andor Season 1 was is going to lead us to be very, very excited for Andor Season 2. But tell me in the chat. And while you do so, let's talk about what we're watching today. We do have some other news to get to before this Q&A begins at 3 p.m., but let's talk about it. So what are we watching today live? Well, let's look at it. So, Andor creator Tony Gilroy is here to answer your questions this Thursday. By the way, chat, let's conjure up some incredible questions that he can answer. Let's do that. That's the big issue. We have to make a question that he's going to be able to answer. We can't be asking him, is Darth Vader going to be in Season 2? He's not going to answer that. So we got to ask some questions that are answerable. Now, I don't really know how this thing's going to work. Are we actually going to be in the live chat and be able to ask questions? Because that would be insane. But we have to formulate some questions that we can actually ask him that are answerable about season 2 of Andor. That aren't like, is Palpatine going to be all badass in it? But you guys conjure up some questions. Let's read what's going on. So, we've always known that Cassian Andor's journey was destined for the beaches of Scarif. Of course, that's where he dies to the Death Star. As we prepare to join star Diego Luna to watch the final chapter of Cassian's life unfolding in Andor Season 2, premiering on April 22nd, 2025, in 40 days, the Disney Plus series creator Tony Gilroy has a special surprise in store. On Thursday, March 13th, which is today, join the showrunner and other special guests for a look back at Andor Season 1. So let's talk about this for a second. So not only are we getting Tony Gilroy, but we're also getting other special guests from Andor. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's not going to be Diego Luna, because if it was, then they probably put his name on there. The star of the show, Diego Luna, and Tony Gilroy. They didn't do that. So I think they're going to be other actors and actresses that are in the show, but not Diego Luna. I mean, maybe, but it just, the way they're phrasing it, they're not saying Diego Luna will also be there. They're just saying other members of the show. So, streaming live at noon Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so in about 50 minutes, on Star Wars, Disney Plus, Lucasfilm, and Hulu and YouTube channels. This is probably where we're going to watch it, on the YouTube channel. This special event revisits key moments from the first 12 episodes of the critically acclaimed first season, with new insights from the actors, from the cast and creator. Tune in to the live stream for a chance to have your questions answered on screen. So this is the big deal. We got to conjure up some questions to ask them that they can answer. But what's really interesting to me is, yes, they're going to be, I guess, revisiting key moments from the first 12 episodes from the first season, but there's also going to be questions answered and asked about season 2. And I have no doubt in my mind that there's going to be, hopefully, some specific details revealed about season 2 that we didn't know before. They're bound to slip up here and there. Anything Tony Gilroy really says about season 2 is going to give us some sort of new information about that second season. But season 1 is really important, Tony Gilroy tells StarWars.com. In fact, over a career stretching more than 3 decades in filmmaking, it's hard to anticipate that this won't be the most important thing I've ever worked on by far, just because of the scale of it. Again, we know that this second season costs $300 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $300 million. Okay. Whether you're rewatching season 1, which we are doing right now with the members on Sundays in preparation for the newest episodes in the series, or experiencing the beginning of Cassian's journey for the first time, refresh your memory with the new 14-minute recap of season 1 available exclusively on YouTube. That is this video right here. We're not going to watch all 14 minutes of this. I mean, all of you, I'm guessing, have seen season 1. But I will say what's really, really strange is that the first 3 episodes of Andor season 1 have been released for free on YouTube. We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, but this is wild. Watch episodes 1 through 3 on YouTube and watch the full seasons on Hulu and Disney Plus. That's crazy. The fact that they're releasing this for free is insane. $300 million in super chats. I'll take that. I'll take it, chat. Come on. Let's go, chat. Sorry. Got ahead of myself there. But we've never seen that before. The first 3 episodes of this show actually being premiered on YouTube is insane. And it is really interesting because it means that they know that they have something on their hands here. They know they have something special that fans are really going to look forward to in season 2. And you don't want to miss it. Because even people who don't own a Disney Plus membership get to watch the first 3 episodes of Andor for free. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's, oh my God, we got a super chat. Hang on. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $10 holla. Holy crap, Darth Plagueis. I really appreciate that. It says a start. Okay. That's a start. We're getting close. We'll hit the goal, 300 million, in no time. I appreciate that, Darth Plagueis. That's insanely generous. Yeah. An old channel, what's up, says, are they streaming it on Disney Plus? What do you mean? Oh, the live stream today? It's on Disney Plus. It's on YouTube. It's on everywhere. Yeah. We're going to be watching it live right here on YouTube. And we won't be copy struck or anything because it's a live stream on YouTube. So we should be fine. Yeah. Yeah. Dead Mike, what's up? What'd you miss? Well, I mean, not much yet. Not much yet. But I appreciate the Darth Plagueis. I really, really do. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here. Now, before we talk about all the Andor stuff we'll get to with this interview, we got to talk about something pretty damn interesting that's happening right now in Star Wars comics. Okay? And before you go, oh, Mike, I don't read the comics, blah, 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 blah. This is pretty interesting, and you don't need to have read any of the comics to understand it. But right now, there's a comic run coming out called Legacy of Vader. Give me a 1 to the chat if you're reading this comic run, first of all. But this is about Kylo Ren, and of course, being the legacy of Darth Vader. So in this latest issue, there's a panel that gives us sort of our first look, so to speak, at the time period of Ben Solo's younger life when he's being raised by his parents, and Luke is part of the family, and Uncle Luke, of course, and Lando's hanging out, and Chewie's hanging out. Everybody's hanging out. So check this out. This is a panel from the latest comic book. Check this out. So, you got Han Solo and Leia up here in the top left, hanging out with a young Ben Solo. You got Lando teaching Ben Solo a thing or two over here with Han in the background. You got Luke training Ben Solo to try and pick up this rock with the Force. You got him on Chewie's shoulder. You got some sort of giant Thanksgiving meal looking thing going on over here with everybody there, the droids and all. Gang's all there. You got C-3PO with a hat on or something going on over there. Well, he's working on R2. And he's piloting the Millennium Falcon. Oh, you can't see that. My head's in the way. And then on the bottom right, he's piloting the Millennium Falcon. Pretty damn wild. But this is the stuff that we want to see. To me, this is exactly what we want from this time period in between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, is, to me, the best character in the sequel trilogy, other than Babu Frick, of course. But to me, he's the best character in the sequel trilogy. And I think the biggest part of his story has yet to be told, and that is his fall to the dark side. It's like watching the original trilogy. You've seen the original trilogy. You know that Anakin exists. You know that Vader exists. You know that Kylo Ren exists. You know that Ben Solo exists. But you haven't seen the prequels yet. We are sitting at a time right now where we have seen the sequel trilogy, but we haven't seen the prequel to what Ben Solo's arc is, his fall to the dark side. The 3 movies that tell us the fall of Anakin Skywalker and the 7 seasons of the Clone Wars animated series that tell the fall of Anakin Skywalker don't exist for Ben Solo. They just don't. So he's already one of the coolest characters from the sequel trilogy. Imagine how much cooler he will be if he got the exploration of his character like Anakin did. If he got a trilogy and 7 seasons of an animated show. I don't think he needs that much, but even still, anything to explore his journey and his fall to the dark side is going to be very, very important. Very important. So that's why this comic, it's cool. Like, you get this whole family reunion type thing going on here with Chewie, Han, Leia, Luke, Lando, the droids, Ben. It's cool. But we need this in some sort of show, movie, whatever you want to call it. We need it. We need it. Hopefully Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show would do it perfectly. But we got 7 seasons of the Clone Wars that really explores Anakin's fall to the dark side. We need more of that in the future of Star Wars content for Ben Solo. Because right now, he's just a whiny little baby in the sequel trilogy. He's badass, but he's still his fall to the dark side. The best part of his story, I think, hasn't even been explored yet. Not to mention Luke's fall to Ahch-To, or Palpatine's rise to power, or Snoke's rise to power, the First Order's rise to power. All that stuff can be explored in a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show. Yeah, but that's just me. Okay, so that was a little bit of a comic news over there. Some more sequel trilogy stuff, we'll stick on it for just a second here, is this. Star Wars is quietly retconning one major Last Jedi plot point ahead of James Mangold's new Star Wars movie. James Mangold, of course, is making the Dawn of the Jedi movie, as we know, and this is pretty dang interesting. Star Wars just introduced some major Star Wars Last Jedi retcons and has some interesting implications for one of the most anticipated upcoming Star Wars movies, Dawn of the Jedi. It's been a bit difficult to pin down which Star Wars project is really happening over the last few years, but Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars movie update provided considerably more insight. Among the movies confirmed to be in the works, James Mangold's prequel movie, rumored to be titled Dawn of the Jedi. I think it's probably going to be titled Dawn of the Jedi, if I were a guessing man, but I don't know. We'll see. Little is known about Dawn of the Jedi currently, although, as the rumor title suggests, it is thought to be an origin story for the Jedi. Specifically, the Dawn of the Jedi is set to explore the Prime Jedi, the very first Jedi in Star Wars. I guess the people who create the first lightsaber and the first Jedi Temple and all that crazy stuff. That is truly thrilling. That is a truly thrilling prospect. But based on this brand new Star Wars retcon to The Last Jedi, that story might look quite different from what audiences are expecting. So let's talk about this. Star Wars introduces some subtle wiggle room in terms of the Jedi's history. The Last Jedi established that Ahch-To, the island where Luke Skywalker had exiled himself, was the location of the very first Jedi Temple. When we've talked about this movie in the past, we have heard this, that in Legends, Ahch-To doesn't exist. Ahch-To is a brand new place introduced by the sequel trilogy. So it's something that changes from the Legends story already. But keep that in mind. However, a brand new Star Wars book has just confirmed that this isn't necessarily the case. In Star Wars Complete Locations New Edition, written by Jason Fry, Emily, Kristen, Simon, Kiri, James, and others, it explains Jedi scholars disagree on the location of the Jedi's first temple, making cases for Coruscant, Jeddah, Ossus, as well as worlds shrouded in myth such as Tython and Ahch-To. This changes so much in just a little 2 sentences. Because Jedi scholars disagreeing on where the first Jedi Temple is, of course, indicates how long it's been since that Jedi Temple was created, but it also indicates that they've lost records of what happened. And honestly, the ones they list here are strange. Coruscant, of course, being the main hub of the galaxy, but we know that a Sith temple was created underneath the Jedi Temple on Coruscant first. Interesting. Jeddah is in Rogue One. Jeddah never really was in the conversation for First Jedi Temple, I don't think, before this. And Ossus is where Luke Skywalker makes his Jedi Temple. This might be setting up something for, I guess, future Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple storytelling. It's possible. It is definitely possible. But Ossus being in consideration for the first ever Jedi Temple would change a lot. Also, Tython, of course, and Ahch-To. Tython was in The Mandalorian Season 2, where Grogu sits on the Seeing Stone. And Ahch-To, of course, being where Luke is in The Last Jedi right here. But the fact that this is now up for debate, where the first Jedi Temple is up for debate, that changes what this future new Jedi Order movie could look like. And this was obviously written in a new Star Wars Complete Locations New Edition book because James Mangold is writing that script right now. James Mangold and Mr. Willie Mon being a writer on Andor Season 1 and Season 2, Mr. Willie Mon and James Mangold are currently writing the script for Dawn of the Jedi. So if they write the original Star Wars Jedi Temple's location as Tython or Jeddah or Osis, and that's not the case because we know in the sequel trilogy that it's explained to us that Ahch-To is the first ever Jedi Temple, then they have to go back and change that. So now they do. With one simple line, Jedi scholars disagree on the location of the first ever Jedi Temple. Simple as that. Now you can go back and tell the story and tell it the right way and explain what the first Jedi Temple is. Now, to me, this sets them up perfectly to tell a story with Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple that we could never have seen before. Because if it's true that Luke settled on Osis because that's where the first Jedi Temple was and he knew that, that changes a lot. That changes the whole story of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple and adds so much more meaning to it, especially if we're going to get that story explained in future content, whether an animated show or a live action one. There's no way we're not getting Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple ever. At some point, it will be explored. So this just gives us more information towards that. Yeah. It's pretty dang cool. A tiny little retcon, if you will, but it's not really retconning too much. It's almost setting up the Dawn of the Jedi movie to explain what needs to be explained. Yeah. Explore the Force says, this should make people really happy. If retconning a birthday set the fandom menace into a frenzy, Lord help us. Yeah. It's not going to be, it's not the best news. Let's put it that way. It's not the best news, because if this sort of becomes as huge as Ki-Adi-Mundi being in the Acolyte, well, then we got a problem. We got a big problem. Ron, what's up? Yeah, if this is going to become Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Acolyte, then this is a big issue. But right now, I mean, nobody's really talking about it. This is actually a pre-order sale right now. So this isn't even out yet. But it's possible if this sort of headline of the retcon of the Last Jedi gets out there, then people might have some issues. They might. But let's finish this off. Little is known about the Dawn of the Jedi at this time. The changes could leave the door wide open for a origin story for the Jedi. Yeah, which is so much more exciting. Had this retcon not have been included in the complete locations, Dawn of the Jedi would have been restricted in terms of the story they could tell. Now, in light of this, the possibilities are really limitless and especially exciting, given the centuries-old Coruscant could be shown. So, the coolest part to me about the Dawn of the Jedi movie, as it's being created right now, is the fact that you can see all these older locations 25,000 years ago. You can see Coruscant 25,000 years before you see it in the prequel trilogy. So it's this crazy city place. 25,000 years ago, it probably wasn't. It probably looked like a town. I don't even know. Like, it probably didn't look much like anything. Having said that, you get to see planets like Coruscant, planets like Ahch-To, Tython. When we see Tython in The Mandalorian Season 2, it's like overgrown. It's buried pretty much underground. It's ruins. It's ruins. Same thing with Jeddah. Jeddah is in ruins in Rogue One. We're going to get to see those Jedi temples get built and be in their peak. Be brand new. So that'll be pretty cool. Oh, we got a super chat. Hang on. We got a super chat. I Hodja with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that, I Hodja. I really, really do. Says new live side. Nice. The light side. Saber impression, please. I mean, if you like. Okay. So that's what I think is really going on here. This retcon of the sequel trilogy is really just to set up the Dawn of the Jedi to be better than it could be. Give us the opportunity to tell the story correctly of the Dawn of the Jedi. Give us Coruscant 25,000 years ago. Give us Octu 25,000 years ago. Give us Tython 25,000 years ago. And set that up in the way that they want to, not the way that they have to. Yeah, that's what I think.
This is where the fun begins.
Dawn of the Jedi, although it's not going to be the next Star Wars movie after The Mandalorian, we know it's going to be Sean Levy's movie. It still, to me, is one of the most highly anticipated projects. Like, it's top of the list, if not second or third, because Andor Season 2 is in 40 days. But just to see the Dawn of the Jedi, the first ever lightsaber created, the first ever Force users, the first ever Jedi Temple made, like that stuff, it's going to be so damn cool to see. And to have James Mangold and Mr. Willimon writing it, well, that's just even better. Yeah. They'll just screw it up? Okay, well, that's optimistic of you. Yeah. Sorry, chat. I'm very excited because in about 30 minutes, Tony Gilroy is going to step in here, and I won't have to talk anymore. Tony, come save me, please. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, with that being said, let's talk about this. All right, we got some Mandalorian and Grogu news as well before we get to this Andor Season 2 stuff. So let's talk about it. All right. The Mandalorian and Grogu introduces BDX droids. So do you know the BD droids from Jedi Survivor? BD1 with Cal Kestis. He's being brought over to the movie theater a little bit, I guess. BDX droids are these droids right here. They look like BD1 a little bit. The head is pretty much the same, but the body is bigger because it's an actual droid that's walking around Galaxy's Edge right now. So it seems as though Disney is finally switching over from the sequel trilogy, I guess, at Galaxy's Edge to what's currently going on, and that is the Mandoverse. Din Djarin and Grogu are currently at Galaxy's Edge right now. Next year, there will be a new ride, or at least the Smuggler's Run will be adapted to have Din Djarin in it and be more Mandalorian-centered. And now these droids that will be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie are at Disney World and land. So Galaxy's Edge is now incorporating the Mandoverse extremely. And this, by the way, behind them is the Adelphi base from the Mandalorian Season 3, where the New Republic is with Carson Teva. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll get to this in a second, but we do have another super chat. Hang on. Okay. Rose with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate this. Hey, Mike. Could you do your best Wilhelm scream? Old or new? What do you mean old or new? I don't know what that means, but yes, I can. Okay. Let's do that first, okay? Let's do that first. Okay. So if you don't, give me a 1 to the chat if you know what the Wilhelm scream even is. Chat, do we know? Do you know what the Wilhelm scream is? It's really annoying because I could feel my voice going away on Tuesday's live stream. And here we are on Thursday, and my voice is still gone. Stupid. Yes, it's used in every single Star Wars movie ever. Pretty wild. It didn't originate in Star Wars, but it is in every Star Wars movie ever. And if you don't know what it is, well, it sounds like this. That right there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. My impressions today are going to be very lackluster because I can't raise my voice really. That's not terrible. I can't do it. My voice today is not going to be great with the impressions chat unless you give me like something really low. I don't know. Okay. But I appreciate it. Sorry. Okay. Going back here. So, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We get a little bit of an insight as to characters that will be in the movie, and that is these little droids. During a panel on by Southwest Film Festival over the weekend, Disney provided more details about the upcoming Mandalorian ride at Galaxy's Edge, also confirming that the BDX droids that have appeared at Disney parks will be making their big screen debut in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. They also revealed that they will be tuned up by the Anzellan named Otto. Lucasfilm also debuted the first look at the droids from the set of the film with the following images. So we look at them there. Again, this all looks to be on the Adelphi base. Now the question becomes, do these BDX droids, are they really just a big tease at BD1 and Cal Kestis coming? I mean, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to make these droids walk around Galaxy's Edge. You didn't have to create these droids that look exactly like BD1. Maggie, what's up? RJ, how we doing? I don't know. What do we think? But having said that, Jon Favreau even came out on stage during this, alongside the Imagineers, Leslie and Aza, to talk about the new adventure. Also, how special it is for them to be able to tell the story across many different mediums. One of the cool things about Disney is how we are able to tell the story in so many different formats. We are already taking Mando and Grogu from the TV screen to the movie screen. And at the same time, Dave Filoni and I are working with Aza to bring this story to the Disney parks too. So you're getting to see it cross over finally after all these years. The new mission will be incorporated in the Millennium Falcon's Smuggler Run ride at Disney parks, and it will debut when the movie features on May 22nd, 2026, which makes me believe that there's something going on there. But opening an attraction as in such a massive movie on the same day wouldn't be possible without the relationships that we have inside Disney. John and Dave have shared their stories with us, and now we've worked together to come up with a new mission for the Smuggler's Run that plays into the narrative. This is sort of the first time that this is happening here. We have a movie that also has a ride at a Disney park that is associated with it. So that ride coming out on the same day as the movie is clearly not going to be a coincidence. They're going to be connected in some sort of way, and it's going to take place inside of the mission that we see in the movie. Maybe even saving Stinky the Hut from Embo. Yeah. How Run a Base, what's up? So, the story ride will not be a retelling of the movie, Jon Favreau confirms, but rather it will tell a story of something that is going on off screen. Okay, interesting. It's not going to retell what happens in the movie. It's more like participating in something that happens just off camera from what you see in the film. All right, let's talk about this. If you don't know, Smuggler's Run at Star Wars Disney Parks, Galaxy's Edge. If you don't know, that is a Millennium Falcon ride. You get in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and you go on a mission with Hondo Ohnaka to go, smuggle some stuff. The fact that Jon Favreau is saying that this is directly connected to the movie, it's a story that you are involved in that is right off screen, right off camera, that you see in the film, leads me to believe that the Millennium Falcon is in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Chat? What? So with that being said, tell me in the chat, do you think that the Millennium Falcon will be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Just the ship. Not Han, not Chewie, not Lando, not anybody else. Just the ship. You know, because it flies itself, obviously. This is very interesting. Jon Favreau saying that it's not going to be a retelling of what happens in the movie, but it's going to be something that you participate in that happens just off camera from what you see in the film, leads me to believe that the Millennium Falcon is involved in this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. No? Let me reread it for you. This is not going to be a retelling of what happens in the movie. It's more like participating in something that's happening just off camera from what you see in the film. Let me remind you that this ride is you in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon with Din and Grogu right there, TIE fighters right there. The Millennium Falcon is being a part of the Mando story in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Does this mean we'll see Han Solo? I don't know. Does it mean we'll see Chewie? I don't know. But it means the Millennium Falcon will sure damn be there. At least right off screen, as it says here. That's a little strange, chat. We're going back to Bespin. Well, in one of the this doesn't look like Bespin here, but I know what you're saying. In one of these pictures, it's from Bespin. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So this is the pictures. Oh my goodness. Not only is this the Millennium Falcon flying right side of a Razor Crest. By the way, the Razor Crest is coming back in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But there is a Moff Gideon-esque looking ship up there. TIE fighters, a Imperial shuttle, Bespin. I don't know, chat. I get it. This looks like it's just a fan fiction right here. But the Disney parks are canon to Star Wars. They are. The mission you go on with Hondo Ohnaka on the Smuggler's Run is canon to Star Wars. So this mission you go on in the Millennium Falcon with Din and Grogu is also going to be canon to Star Wars. So Millennium Falcon in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie equals Han Solo or Chewie or both in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Am I missing something here? We've already seen Luke, R2, and C-3PO in the Mandoverse. If Bespin appears, Han and Chewie are a given. I agree. I 1000% agree. But here's the big question. Now, let's ask the chat. If this is the case, if this is really what's going on here, will it be Alden Ehrenreich? Lando? Ooh, interesting. What if Lando's in it too? Would it be Donald Glover? This is a very interesting sort of issue, I guess. We've seen Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa deep-faked multiple times. Luke in The Mandalorian Season 2, Luke in The Book of Boba Fett, Leia in Rogue One, and Leia in The Rise of Skywalker. But Han Solo and Lando, for that matter, have both been recast for the Solo movie. So, would Alden Ehrenreich be the Han Solo in the Mandalorian Grogu movie? Or would they deepfake it? This is pretty interesting. So the Millennium Falcon's in the Mandalorian Grogu movie, which is pretty much confirmed right here by Jon Favreau. And Han Solo, or Chewbacca, or Lando, somebody's pilot in the Millennium Falcon, is also in the movie. Do they deepfake him, or do they recast them? Because they've already recasted them. And let's not forget that Donald Glover is currently working on a Lando movie. So if you're going to bring in Lando in the Mandoverse, you might as well bring in Donald Glover, right? I really don't know. This is a very interesting topic. Because Lando, or Donald Glover's Lando and Alden's Han are both prequels to the original trilogy. Now we're talking post-original trilogy. So would you still keep them recasted or would you deepfake them? I don't know, chat. What do we think? Deepfake or recast? Or keep the recast, I guess. Should we pull this up? Let's actually pull this up. And while we do pull this up, we do have a super chat from 50 Thunder. 50 Thunder with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that. Says, Mike, this will be good for your throat. An impression of Lulio Primook from Solo. Get well soon, buddy. I appreciate that, 50 Thunder. I don't know who this is, though. Not going to lie. I have no idea. Let's see. Who the hell is this? How do I not remember this scene at all? I gotta go rewatch Solo. What is this? Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy crap, I'm gonna die over here. I
got a bad feeling about this.
I have zero recollection of that scene. None. I one more time. That is so awesome. Oh my god, that is so funny. One more time. I'm rewatching Solo tonight. I am rewatching Solo tonight. What? Oh my god. One more time. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, 50 Thunder, that was the greatest super chat of all time. Thank you. I appreciate it. Super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here. So funny. Oh, that is so funny. Holy crap. Oh, I'm going to cry laughing here. Oh, holy crap. Okay. Jesus. Okay. Regroup here. Focus, chat. We got to put up a poll. I don't even remember what we were polling up. I don't even remember anymore. Oh, holy crap. Han Solo being in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Okay. Do you think Han Solo will be in the Mandalorian and Grogu? I can't type Grogu movie. Yes or no? By the way, chat, I've just figured out what my next video is going to be. So hopefully if my voice isn't too far gone, this video will come out tomorrow, but it's likely not going to happen because I have no voice right now. So probably Saturday or Sunday, Han in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I made a short for today, and it came out very well, and my voice worked. But I mean, I guess I was only talking for 1 minute, but whatever. Okay. So this just leads me to believe that Han will be in the movie. But the question becomes, will he be deepfaked, or will they use Alden Ehrenreich? Because if they use Alden Ehrenreich, that leads us to believe that they might actually recast the other people as well. Did we decide on what we want to ask Tony Gilroy? Okay, now we have 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes until this interview happens, till we get to ask Tony Gilroy a question and the rest of the cast, I guess. So let's not get too distracted here, but throw in your questions that you think that they will actually answer in the chat right now. Yeah. Neither Alden is young Han. Yes, he's young Han, but, Stanley, what's up? I'm doing all right. I mean, my voice is gone, but other than that, we're doing great. Yeah. You need to do a solo breakdown because you forget everything. I don't forget everything. I just forget most things. What if it's Ben Solo? Interesting. Now, he'd be too young at that point. He'd be too young. Well, it would be interesting to see Han and Ben Solo, like Ben is with him, because then you'd have Grogu and Din, and it's sort of like a father and son duo there, and then Han and his son. That'd be pretty interesting. What if the Mandalorian and Grogu movie not only has Han in the Millennium Falcon and maybe even Chewie, but also has a young Ben Solo? That would be wild. Yeah. That is crazy. Both. It'll be Alden, but they deepfake him to make him look more like Harrison. I don't think so, because they didn't do that for the movie. They didn't do that for the Solo movie. So I don't think they'll do it for anything else. Yeah. I hope they answer who Palpatine smashed. What? Okay. Ask them if pineapple belongs on pizza. Spoiler, the answer is no, or you're weird. Guess I'm weird. I like pineapple on pizza. I hope Han is in it. What's the question? And use the Force to bring back the Star Wars channel? What? Well, the question is, will Han be deepfaked or will they use Alden Ehrenreich? Because they deepfaked Luke and they deepfaked Leia. But, yeah. Where does Tony Gilroy go from here? Well, he has already kind of answered that. He says he's done with Star Wars after this second season happens. Or he's not done with Star Wars, but he's done with Star Wars. He's done with Star Wars, but he's not like leaving on bad terms. He's spent a decade working on Star Wars. He gave us Rogue One, Andor Season 1, and if Andor Season 2 is as good as I think it's going to be, then we might get the greatest trilogy of all time. Yeah. Yeah. You put pizza on pineapple? Okay. That's a little weird. Yeah. Mike, you should ask them if they've heard of your channel. That just sounds very self-centered, and I don't want to do that. But, I mean, Star Wars, not to brag or anything, but the official Star Wars account has been in our live streams before. So shout out to them for being awesome. But, yeah, during some live streams, watch parties and stuff, they've come in. We've tried to ask them questions, but they are very secretive of what they answer, Deservingly so, but, whatever. What, when? For the Acolyte, they came in for a couple times, actually. And for Skeleton Crew, they came in once or twice. Yeah. Yeah. You got to come to the watch parties. The watch parties is where they show up. I think the goal, chat, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. A lot of fanboys were mad when he said he wasn't a fan of Star Wars. Oh, yeah. That was a big deal. But you got to think of it this way. He was more so saying that he wasn't like a crazy Star Wars fan who knows everything about the lore. And that's sort of what you see in Andor. Andor gets a bunch of cool little Easter eggs, like a mention of the Rakatan Empire, the Luthen's Gallery, with all those different Easter eggs in it. But when you really look at it, Andor is not really Star Warsian, if you will. No lightsabers, no force, no none of that. So it's really a ground-leveled story. And that's why it works. That's why Tony Gilroy is so good at creating this story. Even Rogue One. I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. That's, yeah, I guess, but and Vader, of course. But other than that, most of your characters are just rebels. Yeah. Stanley, it's your birthday? Really? Can we get some happy birthdays to Stanley in the chat? Happy birthday, Stanley. That's awesome. Hope you're well, you're clearly celebrating it right with the people who love Star Wars, so I appreciate that. Asks Tony what his favorite Star Wars movie is. We could do that. That's a good one. How does Gilroy feel? How does Gilroy think of the fandom? Hopefully, well. Yeah. Okay. Of course, Stanley. Live it up. Eat some cake for me. Eat some cake for me. I had cake yesterday. Sorry. I had cake yesterday. It was my mom's birthday yesterday. Can we get some happy birthdays to my mom in the chat? I'm going to show this to her later, and maybe she'll appreciate it. Justin says, I've been here the whole time just watching on my TV. I'm on your TV? Oh my God, it must be enormous. Hello down there. I just am imagining myself on like an 80-inch flat screen TV. Mike, with that funny solo impression, what do you mean? There was nothing funny about that. Happy late birthday, Mike's mom. Your kid is awesome. Thanks, Maggie. I appreciate that. Okay. So we got about 8 minutes until this live stream begins. And I think there's no better way to get hyped up for Andor Season 2 than to watch the awesome trailer that came out last week, okay? So let's watch it again. Why not?
Emergency broadcast, if you can hear me!
We are not who we were when we started.
Imperial ships are already landing.
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot. A soldier.
Everything I did for the rebellion.
Okay, so a lot happens in the first 20 minutes of this trailer, but what's interesting is the lady who's calling out for help. Is she on... Is she on Gorman? Sorry, brain broke. Is she on Gorman?
Emergency.
Actually, wait, what the hell was that? What is this? Hang on, Chet. Oh, that's the Star-Lord thing. Never mind.
Emergency broadcast, if you can hear me!
Like, is that lady on Gorman calling?
We are not who we were when we started.
Imperial ships are already landing.
Imperial ships are already landing. Let's not forget the one little thing that we know about the Gorman massacre is that Tarkin lands his Star Destroyer on the people, crushing them. I don't know if they're going to go that graphic with it and show us that. But she does say the Imperial ships are already landing. I don't know. We'll see.
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot. A soldier.
So that's Bix saying we need a pilot, a soldier. But Bix is sort of in hiding, doing something else. Like, why is she saying this? You know, what's the deal here? Also, Cassian with the sniper rifle on Gorman. What's going on there? I have no idea. But
Everything I did for the rebellion.
I can't get any more excited for this one scene than I ever could. This is the ship that Vader pulls out of the sky and rips to shreds. Maybe that should be our question to Tony. Say, hey, Tony, in that new trailer that you posted last week, the ship from Kenobi, where Vader pulls it out of the sky and rips it to shreds, Is that a connection to the hidden path? Are we going to see Cal Kestis? Are we seeing Cal Kestis in the show? Oh, the chat's open already? Oh, hang on. Hang on, chat. The live chat's already open? Oh, shit, it's already open. Okay. Leave your questions for Tony Gilroy. All right. Everybody get in this chat. Actually, don't get in this chat. Stay in my chat. All right. But. Whoa. Got a lot of people in here. People already waiting. Smash a like there. Some people think they're streaming the whole season. Let's ask a question to the chat. Question to the chat. Let's ask them something. What do we think, chat? Let's ask a question to these 100 people here waiting for the thing. Oh, wait. They're answering questions? Oh, shit. Who would win? Din Djarin or Jango Fett? I feel like my question's going to be lost in translation. All right, but we gotta think of some actual questions to ask here before we get buried in the translation, I guess. What do we think? What are we asking him? Maggie, what's up? Look at, we got a bunch of people in the chat, in this chat too. What happened, chat? What channel is this on? This is on the official Star Wars channel on YouTube. Yeah. This is craziness. How's everyone doing today? On this fine Thursday afternoon. we're just chatting in the chat. I don't get to do this much. I'm usually the host of these things. I don't get to chat. Bix is so hot. Oh my God, you guys are crazy. All right. Do we actually... we need a real question to ask. What do we think? Like a real one that they'll answer. Is this... let's go with this. Is this the first ever quadrilogy? How do you spell quadrilogy? You guys are awesome. How do you spell quadrilogy? Quadrilogy, right? That quadrilogy. Trilogy, but quadrilogy. I mean, let's go straight to the source here, chat. We got them where we want them. Hey, Star Wars, if you're watching, we know that you are. Is this the first ever quadrilogy? Damn it, my chat's already gone. Like, they're never going to see that. How do I get this check mark next to my name? Oh, wait. Heads up. Aaron, what's up? Jesus. Okay. Jeez, people are flooding into this thing now. Oh, because it's 3 o'clock. Oh, all right. Don't you want to fight these bastards for something real? All right. I wonder how they're going to... Do they have moderators in this? Like, how are they going to do this? We got people saying we want Cara Dune in the chat. Like, are they going to get rid of those people? It'll be interesting to see. I wonder if they have moderators. When does this thing start? Or has it already started? Am I missing something here?
Smile, laugh.
Oh, I'm missing.
Looking back at season 1, it's been some time. It's been some time.
5.5 years.
How
2 years since.
Yeah. So how are you feeling looking back at season 1 now that we are kind of on the heels of season 2?
We finished in November, for real. We finished. And there's a lot of people that worked on the show that have been very eager.
Yeah.
Everybody's very, and now that we're doing press and rolling out, so I'm in touch with everybody, and there's a great number of people that are very eager to have their work seen. So we're into it. We wanna get out there.
Want to get out there. Well, I think one of those eager people might be joining us now. Our first guest is here, and you know and love her. We know and love her as Bix Colleen. The one and only Adria Arjona is joining us.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Hello, how are you?
Bix.
How are you?
I
get
love
some
your
good
book
cups full of orders in
collection.
the
Look
chat.
at you.
Seriously.
Thank you. I can't take credit for this. This is my father's.
Oh, okay.
I'm in my father's house, which is probably the worst place to do this. So hopefully you won't hear my family in the background.
Well,
Hopefully
it looks great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. How excited are you to look back at season 1 and knowing how close we are to season 2?
All right, the chat's going too crazy. I'm going full screen.
I can't wait. I'm probably the most eager. I called Tony many times. I'm like, when is the show going to come out? When is it going to come out? I'm just so excited for people to
That's what I'm saying.
Rewatch season 1 and then watch season 2. It is astonishing.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
That's you, the master. Well, why don't we look back before we look ahead? We're going to jump into a clip. This is from episode 1, Casa, and this is when Cassian visits Bix and needs a favor. The intro. Here we go. Let's take a look.
What?
Oh, we get to watch scenes from season 1? Let's go.
I mean, can you talk about what's kind of going on here? Because this is establishing...
I was trying to remember, Audrey, was this your audition scene?
It was my audition scene.
I think so, yeah.
Hard.
Go ahead.
The scene that you audition with, there's so much pressure. You're like, oh wait, the dynamics that you sort of have to change.
Huh.
But Diego really made the scene on set feel so fresh and alive for me. You know, I had already done it for the
Corvette coming in this week.
I mean, and from our point of view, the show's point of view, I mean, this is, we want to introduce Ferrex and these, I want a woman who runs her own business, and I don't know if you remember, it's ion conversion nodes and components of great variety is the title of the store. And every one of these stores, every one of these salvage yards in Ferrex has its own business, and she's a boss, She's a boss, and she's taken over the family business, and she's got it all together, and here comes her roachy old boyfriend at his roachiest, right?
Tim!
I love the scene
R.I.P.
so much
Tim.
because it's probably one of the only times that you really see her strength. I mean, you see her strength as the season progresses, but that scene is so big. She's such a Phyrexian in that scene. And then from that moment on, things just start happening to her and happening to her and happening to her. So I hold that scene very dear to my heart. It might be one of my favorites.
And it's the scene you audition with, and I always kind of ask people, like, what was your I'm in Star Wars moment? But you're in that scene. There's so much practicality around you. Did you feel that when you stepped onto that set?
Oh yeah. We had one day of rehearsal in that space, and I remember, and thank God we had that one day of rehearsal, because I feel like people don't realize we're really trying to play it cool when we're on those sets. We did such an amazing job at creating these worlds and spaces for us that I was just touching every button. I was like a little kid in a playground. I couldn't focus. So I'm really happy we had that rehearsal. So then on the day, I sort of got all of that my Star Wars fan sort of out of the way, and I was able to really be in the world. But it's fascinating just to be in those spaces.
Fascinating.
Tony, you kind of touched on it, but what was important for you to establish in that scene, given that they did have a history? We don't quite know what it is yet when they're introduced.
Well, you're always looking for scenes to do as many things as they possibly can. This scene is doing a lot of work. It's an introduction scene in the relationship. It establishes all their prior history in a very quiet way. It establishes the MacGuffin of the show, which will be the Star Path unit that's going to go through. The whole saga. It establishes the economics on Ferrix. It just does many, many things. I do want to shout out, I think the scene for people who are students of directing, I think Toby Haynes really blocked that scene extraordinarily well. It's a tricky scene. It's a tricky scene to block, and you want to get the whole space, and you want to get your money's worth out of that set that we're never going to go back to. And you want to really meet and see these two people, and I think people who go back and watch it, who are people who are fans of directing, I think it's a really good study into what's really cool about Toby.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's check out another scene.
on.
This one is from episode 3, Reckoning, and this is someone has ratted out Cassian, and Bix finds out it might be someone close to her. Let's have a look.
Tim.
There's a bunch of corpos looking for Cassian. Wilmot saw them. They're down at Martha's. Oh. What in the name of job has he done this time?
Well, let's just talk about that Adria Arjona. All right? Because this scene is a very vulnerable scene. It cannot work. I mean, the idea is very fragile. And a lot of discussion. Does he hear? Does he not hear? Where is he? She has to push this scene through. It's all on her. And this is masterful screen acting here right now. She makes this scene work. Look at her, and she's just gonna totally take over. And the moment he sags, it's a truth.
Right.
And this is actor helping writer
cool.
to the maximum here.
Yeah, he's fantastic here as well. Because,
he's really good, James McArdle.
Yeah,
he's dead.
It's like I hate him.
And he's, it's also cool for us that our first betrayal in a show that's about rebellion is really about love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sad.
True.
And it's a very sad. I mean, it's not hard to feel bad for Tim.
Yeah.
As much of a moke as he is.
I was really nervous about that scene. That scene scared me a little bit, and again, I think the blocking sort of really helped, and the a million phone calls I did to Tony really helped.
What was the phone call?
I just call him all the time. I'm like, Tony, do you think this is right?
I think my call that night was probably like, I'm looking at it on the page and I think it works. I think you just got to get in the car and drive it home. And it really is. If you watch a scene like that, I mean, a scene like that is really vulnerable. An actor who doesn't commit to the idea of it, the scene's going to be left hanging and you're picking takes. If you watch, it's very easy edit on that scene. I think you're just killing it there. I watched it last night in the hotel room to get ready. We won't devolve into that. But we've never talked about Sophia Loren, but I was watching going, this is like a Sophia Loren scene when you're coming at him, and then that's the highest compliment I can give. I mean, I really feeling it.
I'm gonna take it, Tony. I'm gonna
really feeling it, yeah.
I mean, Audrey, after playing Bix for 2 seasons, there's been, celebrations since the season 1 came out where people are cosplaying as her. People love this character. What does she mean to you?
People definitely love Bix.
This character means so much. Not the opportunity of being in Andor, in Star Wars, playing this role. I mean, it really sort of changed my life. I think Tony was one of the first people in this industry to ever sort of believe in me, and he gave me the shot to play Bix, and I had never done anything like this before, and it really challenged me as an actor. So not only do I have a lot of my success to thank for this role, I think I think people saw me in a different way and gave me other opportunities.
Maybe they're for Bix. I don't know.
I love her so much. I love everything that she represents. I even have a little tattoo of.
Oh my gosh!
It's my only character that I tattooed on my body. She means so much to me, and I remember that last day on season 2 on set. It was just.
Oh, she's so dead.
I couldn't comprehend that
she is so dead.
Be her again, or that I wasn't gonna, portray her.
Oh yeah, because she's dead.
I'm still wrapping myself around that.
She's a goner, chat.
I mean, I know you can't say much, and Tony's sitting right here, but what can fans expect from Bix in season 2?
Here we go.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
No,
oh
really.
My God, that's right.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, we're we're gonna go for it. Everybody's gonna go for it, but Bix is, man, she has a hard road.
Oh yeah. And I remember when I spoke to Tony,
She's got a hard road.
Towards the
What the
end
hell's
of,
that mean?
or getting close to sort of season 2, I had all these questions, and just about, the last time that you see Bix, she's so down in the gutters. She's completely different to what we first saw her in that first clip that in episode 1. And I was just so curious about how she was sort of going to rebuild or not rebuild, or how these things were going to affect her or not. And everything that I could have expected, it was nothing like that. It was way more complex and way more rich than I think my imagination was able to go to. So I read it and I was very excited to play it, and now I'm just so excited for people to watch it.
I'm so excited.
I don't know.
Thank you so much. Let my girl live.
Oh,
The
let her
last thing
live.
I'll say is I think, people don't realize when you work on something this long, how much you learn. And even if, I always think I've been doing this for a very long time, and she's talking about, but we learned on this show. You just learn because you're working so fast and much, and everything you're doing is getting made. And if your mind is open and you're into it, you're just constantly learning, and you're learning what the actors can do, and you're learning how far you can push. And I think we all had it was a very educational experience for all of us.
Yeah. Along with answering your questions from home, which keep submitting those, by the way, I'm going to keep bugging everybody about it. We also have a pre-recorded question. Our first one is from Struggle Nation. Let's see what their question is.
Lucasfilm, I didn't get to submit a question.
Drew, Jamie, and Joe from Struggle Nation.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
And we are massive fans of Andor. Love the show. Season 2, it's a day 1 for us. Can't wait for it. And I did have a question for Tony.
I'm a massive fan.
I've rewatched
What?
the first season multiple times. I'm going to watch it again before the second one hits. And there are so many moments in that show that are completely captivating. There's not a wasted scene, not a wasted line. Every part of it seems carefully constructed for maximum effect. And it shows.
That's true.
But if you had to pick, what would be your favorite moment from season 1? What scene or shot
we want season 2 questions.
came out exactly how it was in your head when you envisioned it? Out of curiosity.
Hello to Struggle Nation. And we'll be back. I'll be back with you guys soon enough. I'm going to go really weird here. I'm going to go very, very weird, because there's so many things I could choose. And by choosing so many things that are close to each other, I'm going to pick a scene that's a favorite of mine, because it makes me feel comfortable when people are watching the show. If you make a movie or you're doing something, if you're a director or writer, when you're watching or screening, there's always a moment where you're like, God, if I can just get to that point, then I know everything will be okay. It's almost like if the actors remember their lines all the way through it. And there's always a scene, and the scene for me is in episode 1 when Cyril and Chief Hines are together. It's Kyle Solar and Rupert Vance to start. And it's the scene where I relax when people are watching the show. I know it's an unusual scene. It's a little bit long and shaggy, but it's so what I wanted the show to be able to do, and it's so flashy in a really cool down way.
No, I definitely didn't set the question in.
That's where I get comfortable watching the show.
I
After
wish.
that point to settle in, I'm in good shape. So I know it's a very random choice, but that's what I'm going with.
I like it. That's fun. Audrey, do you have a favorite moment, shot of the show? I know that's a huge question.
Oh, that's a really hard one, a very hard one to pick. I can tell you one of the things that I really loved filming. It's too hard to pick a shot. I think the torturing scene was one that I really enjoyed filming and digging into. That was probably one of my favorites. And that first scene from episode 1.
What?
Those two are my favorite. I had to go with something with Bix because Tony didn't go with someone from Bix, so I picked.
It would have been. I would have been kind of like. I would have looked like we set it up. No, I don't want to do that.
Well, Audrey, it has been such a pleasure having you, Tony.
We talk all the time, so I'll talk to you soon enough. Read some books, why don't you? Yeah,
actually,
might.
Read some books.
Before we
I
say
know.
goodbye to you, actually, we have a couple live questions coming in that I want to go to. Let's go to our first one right now.
Live questions.
Audria, how do you feel about this being your last time playing Vix? Do you feel nostalgic?
That's tough.
Yeah, how are you feeling at this point? Because obviously we haven't, the fans haven't seen it yet, but you're done playing her.
I'm done
Vincent, what's
playing
up?
her, and I think that the nostalgia really hit me when I was at an ADR session and I finally officially wrapped the whole show. Wrapped filming, wrapped doing ADR. And it hit me, and I stayed in my car and I gave myself 10 seconds to cry a little, and then
Just 10 seconds.
and then all that I've been feeling lately is just excitement. After watching it in ADR, and I've
Brandon,
watched
can you get rid of him,
certain
please? Thank
stuff, and I'm just feeling really excited for people to watch season 2. That's where I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Tony, anything to add there?
No, go with that.
Go with that.
Just go with that.
Let's go to another live question here. Audrey, what was your favorite memory working with Diego Luna?
Diego Luna.
Oof. That's another hard one because I think Diego is one of the most generous actors that I've ever worked with. I think, you think a scene is going to go a certain way, it's written a certain way, and Diego just escalates it in such a beautiful way. I remember it was in season 2, and there was this really beautiful moment between these two sort of characters, and it was during the writer's strike, and as you can tell, I depend a lot on Mr. Tony Gilroy, and he just sort of stepped up and was the leader that we all needed during that show.
I didn't kill her.
Main leader, we couldn't be in contact with Tony.
Wasn't me.
And watching him just do that was probably one of my favorite moments.
Blame Tony.
I love working with
Tony
him.
did it.
So anytime I get to do a scene with Diego, it's a good day.
Do you have a favorite thing about seeing them work together?
Yeah, but it's in season 2, and we can't really talk about it. I mean, the relationship in they have a lot of things to do in season 2. I mean, they were kept very far apart in season 1 through all the things that have happened. That won't be the case as we start season 2, and I think anybody who's invested in this relationship will really be,
Brandon, are you in the chat right now?
Rewarded by what's in season 2. Yeah, if you're into this relationship, yeah.
I am.
And what happened? I mean, a bunch of relationships. What happens to ordinary people and their love lives when they're engulfed by war?
Right. Right. Let's go to. I think we have one more live question. Which character besides the one you play do you feel closest to, and why? That's a great question.
Ooh, I think Marva. I think Bix loves Marva and sort of wants to be like her a little bit, and Marva's sort of Bix's hero in my head just by sort of watching and reading. So I think I would say Marva.
Marva.
Yeah, I like that.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Audria, thank you so much for joining us. Any last words about season 2 before we say goodbye for now?
Oh, I'm so scared to say anything, but I'm just really excited for people to watch it. It is, I think Mr. Tony Gilroy and the whole team just really outdid themselves. Season 2. If you liked season 1, get ready for season 2.
That's what we like to hear.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again very soon on April 22nd.
Hi, Tony. I'll call you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Bix.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, do you guys, when was the last time you guys saw each other?
We spoke a couple weeks ago.
Forever.
She calls me.
God.
She's a world traveler. She's all over the place.
Okay.
You can't pin Audria down. She's in New Zealand. She's in England. She's all over.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite memories from, I mean, I guess we're just talking about this, but directly working with Audria that you can share about how she kind of crafted this character even deeper than maybe you expected?
Well, I will say, I mean, since we talked about that audition, she came in, and we really want to put pressure on people on auditions sometimes, casting the kid and casting, and this is a very important part for us. And she doesn't come with she didn't have a huge long resume, and it's potentially a really large part if we go forward. So came in and she brought her to London, and it was just so evident right from the just in the room that it was her part, and we gave her the part in the room. And I think what would I say? I think, as I said, how much we learned.
Appreciate the hearts, guys.
And I think that if you're a very, very beautiful woman, and you're perceived in a certain way, maybe you start to believe what other people think of you all the time, and you don't realize how serious you really are. And I think that it took a minute for her to be comfortable with how good she is.
Yeah. And
I think it took some conversations of confidence to be like, man, you don't sweat this stuff now. Go be who you are and be what you are. And I think you could see that in the first season, her graduation into the actor that she is.
Yeah.
The second season is the delivery of all that but it's fascinating to watch people grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of another powerhouse, we have another guest joining us, and she is one of my faves and also a fave of the forming rebellion. We have Mon Mothma herself.
No way.
Genevieve O'Reilly. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh my
Jen.
gosh.
Hi.
How has it been for you looking back at season 1? It's been a few years. We're going into season 2. How are you feeling?
Mon.
Yeah, I went back and watched a bit, and gosh, it's good.
She looks so strange with the blonde hair.
It's great to watch it again, having filmed season 2, and to go back. And I think it'll be a great thing for people to watch in the lead up to season 2. It's
fact.
It lays
what she
so
said.
much. There's so much depth within it. And it enlightens season 2 for me, actually.
I remember when it was announced that you were coming into Andor, being so excited, of course, that you're stepping back into this role. What has it been like for you playing Mon Mothma at so many different kind of steps and stages of her life, where you keep uncovering more and more about this person that was ultimately like very mysterious for us at the beginning when we first meet her?
She's not going to die.
Mysterious to me.
I could say she can't die. There you go. No death prediction here.
I think Andor has revealed her to me in a way that I never had access to before.
Sounds like Liam Neeson.
I think she was always such a pillar of a figure, such an important,
I love this
vital pillar, really, within the history and within the architecture of the piece previously. But I think what Andor reveals is a really textured, complicated woman, and the joy I have found in playing her and discovering that through Tony's writing.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at one of those moments from season 1 with Mon Mothma. We have episode 7 announcement, and this is where we get a glimpse of a private discussion between Mon Mothma and Luthen. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Has anyone ever made a weapon that wasn't used?
Huh.
The network's been built. It's
this gallery is amazing.
This is my second favorite set in the whole show. We beat the hell out of this set.
What's his first
favorite? Clay listening. I mean, this scene is about a revolutionary tactician who's an accelerationist. That's the term of art for a rebel leader or a leader who wants to make things worse to provoke change. And this is a classic accelerationist scene. The key line of the scene is there will be no rules going forward. And there certainly will be no rules going forward. You're watching someone who's trapped here. She's essentially being blackmailed.
Right.
She has no alternative. He knows it. And the handcuffs are on her, and it's, if you think of all of the binding and all of the shackles that Mon Mothma has to accumulate during season 1, and then in season 2, same again. I mean, it's amazing that she can move by the time we get to where we need to go. And she's had to do that. Her character has to do everything in public. So, I mean, Genevieve has to give a performance where she's always doing something, but then she's always worried about other people seeing what she's doing. So she's half the time she's covering up what she's doing. It's really, anyway, there's more to be said, but it's all in season 2.
Yeah. So much you can't
say. Say it, Tony. Say it, Tony.
I'm monitoring myself as I'm speaking.
Well, let's take a look at another one, and this one we could definitely talk about. This one's from episode 10, One Way Out, and this is Mon Mothma being approached with a proposal that she's not very comfortable with. Let's check it out.
This is a charitable fund we're establishing.
So
May I say, she looks iconic.
Well, this is where you realize how she does her job. If there's been any doubts about her as a boss, or any doubts about her as a senator or a person of power, it's vanquished here. I also want to just say this is just
I insist.
This is just a writer's dream. This is an acting menage a trois that you could write for endlessly with. Hail Richard Delane, hail Ben Miles, hail Genevieve O'Reilly. This is just, what a gas to write for these 3.
Genevieve, what do you remember about, what sticks out to you when you're watching the scene back, and what do you remember about filming it?
I remember the excitement of getting the opportunity to film it. It's such a juicy scene. You really don't get that in television. The amount of pages, the amount of that's revealed, and kind of like what Tony was for, what you have to reveal and what you have to hide all at once is the trick, right? That's my job at hand. And just the dexterity of that is such a gift to give an actor, to be able to trust me with that, to be there's no movement. There's nothing to hide behind. Look, that's just face, like it's really relying on the actors and the connection between the actors and the interplay with the actors. And that is rare and rarefied. And it is a sheer joy to receive and to be trusted with and then to play.
I also got to say, that's an incredibly important scene carrying forward into season 2, number 1. That scene is...
wedding.
There's a lot of... And then also say, you know, it's late in the show, and I'm being really greedy.
Bringing in new guys.
I'm bringing in like, Zana, I'm bringing in another actor. I need another character. I need Gustavo Sculdo. And we have Richard. So all of a sudden, you know, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be trimming and staying in my lane, but it's like, wow, I really could use this guy, and it's so great. It's such a great idea, and let's do this thing. And we have Richard Delane, and
that's why it's a $300 million budget.
If you pick up a theme on this,
Star Wars lover, what's up?
From this, we've been making the show for so long, and you hear us talk about how people change and how it morphs, and it's such an evolving thing. A show like this, all of a sudden, that's a new color. That's having Richard there, and what we can do with Richard in the second season, what we can do with Ben Miles in the second season. So there's an element of discovery as you're doing it, and opportunities present themselves. But yeah, 3 actors sitting really far apart on purpose. Yeah, keep them far apart. I mean, it's troublesome to direct. No one's going to stand up. And we're going to hold your interest.
Right. Like, you're like, how is this going to work? And then it does because of that.
And I will say, the idea in the middle of that is just, I remember the night when Beau Willimon, who called me up and goes, what about the son and daughter? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know. Let me find out if we can do that. But that, I'm going to fight very hard for that.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Willimon.
I can do that. And I just love that idea.
Right. Well, you mentioned the implications for season 2, and Genevieve, I don't want to put you on the spot in front of Tony, but what excites you most about what we're going to see from Mon Mothma in the second season?
I'm so excited for people to watch it, and I think everything that you've been patient about and everything that you've lent into will reveal something truly, truly special, actually. But for her, I think so much of the first season, she had to hide. She had to be kind of carved in stone. She had to hide a lot, and of course, in order for her to get to where we get to in Rogue One, there are much bigger risks that have to be taken, and she has to step out of the shadows, and the cost and the bravery of, and not just Mon Mothma, what the piece asks of every character is truly dramatic and very delicately and painfully human.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go to another great pre-recorded question here, giving you all at home
from a guy who loves
more
Star
time
Wars.
to get those comments in, get those questions in. This one is from Jen Markham. Let's have a look.
That's my alias, Jet. Oh,
Hi, Tony. I'm Jen. I think the writing and dialogue in Andor is fantastic, and I'm also struck by how much costume and design elements, like the wall of gloves on Ferrix, or the boots Narkina 5 prison guards wear, or the moment Luthen transforms himself with the wig and the robe, also contribute so strongly to the storytelling. So I'm wondering, what was the collaboration like between the writers and the production
I never even heard of Jen
teams,
Markham, sorry.
how did that help shape
Much love
the
to
story?
Jen. I don't know these people, Chet. I don't watch enough content, I guess.
The fundamental creation of this show comes from, long before I had the writer's room, for months before the writer's room, Luke Hull, who's the production designer, and I worked together to build Ferrix and to learn how to build Ferrix and learn how to make a world and learn how to do all this stuff. And because we realized very early on, and terrifyingly so, oh my God, we've just gotten involved in a show. We're in this little studio here. So I've said television studio interview. We would have to design every single thing about this before we could start writing it. So every single thing has to be done like that. And so it began this sort of infinite experience of collaboration with all of these different people and departments. I'm going to single somebody out here just because it's just so important to me. And I think Genevieve can speak about it as well, just to be one person specifically, which is Michael Wilkinson. And Michael did not get much notice for season 1. I don't care who gets what for anything. I just want Michael. I don't know if there's a singular achievement, a career achievement like this, what he did with the costumes and wardrobe in this show, on the scale, with the variety, with the style, with the innovation, and one of the great beneficiaries of some super dynamite, super dynamite frocks.
Yeah, Genevieve,
just
do you want to
wait till season 2?
I know, but
it's impossible to understand how he could surpass his artistry, but he has. It's breathtaking.
Wow.
Incredible. And it's like, a lot of times, like,
you look at season
there's,
1
shows and
and it
movies where
looks
they
so
show somebody
good.
at different stages of their life and they have the exact same like hair and it's like we really see Mon Mothma in different looks and stages of her life and where she's at in her like political.
But you know what it's like if you're directing a movie, or you go in and there's all the mood boards and all this, and finally the designs come in and here's the clothes, and if it's a closed show and there's a lot of clothes on it, and it's like, that is like the tiniest little corner of a space. We have thousands of people to dress in such an insane variety of ways to do, and they have to be delivered to set, and they have to be wearing that, and then at the same time we have to have innovative clothes to make new worlds, and then we have parties and fetes and all kinds of events where people really need to, where we need to be couture, and like, okay, yeah, well, can you give me couture and then give me Ferrex. And
Right.
can we have them back to back? And they're going to work Wednesday, Thursday. It's really cool what they pulled off. It's really cool. Hail, Michael.
I also feel
It is
I
really
have to
cool.
shout out to Emma Scott, who
Yes.
headed our hair and makeup team. And those wigs that they created and curated for Mon Mothma are just pieces of genius. I'm not sure I've ever worn wigs. I've worn a lot of wigs in my life on stage, but they are a thing of beauty. And so yes, Luke, our production designer, Michael, our costume designer, and Emma Scott, our hair and makeup designer, they were working at just such an extraordinary level of detail and beauty, and it's all there to drink in season 2 on steroids.
But it's the joy of collab. I mean, it's just a gas to be collaborating with so many amazing people, and you're making stuff that's going to be shot, next week, and so it's real. You're not. It was. I said it's a maximal imaginative experience. Really was. I mean, I'm missing it now already. Yeah. While we're talking about it, so I'm going to end up crying on this show now. That's what's going to happen now. I know. All right.
Thank you, Jen, for that question. Why don't we go to a couple of these live questions we have coming in here? Let's see the first one. What was the most complicated or challenging part of the role of Mon Mothma for you in this season of Andor?
Interesting.
I believe, I don't know if that, let's go season 1 and 2. I'm not sure which season we're referring to.
Yeah, season two drives to some really important work. And I think all that we were working with, and with all the writing, with all those scenes I remember in season 1, I'm just remembering I'm talking to, there's a scene with Takoma where she says, I'm not the Mon Mothma you think I am. So she kind of steps forward, and then where we go in season 2, what's revealed about the woman through the writing is very exciting. I think there's moments in there that people will be waiting for, they'll be hoping for, and yet it is, look, just her journey. I'm gonna start crying, Tony. I miss her so much, and I think
we miss her.
It's just that this was the most extraordinary, special, uniquely, beautifully collaborative project, and
all right, she can be back though. Ahsoka season 2.
Let's go to another live question. Thank you for that question, by the way. It was great. Genevieve, how did you feel learning Mon married off her daughter for the rebellion?
Well, she hasn't yet. She hasn't yet. In season 1, she hasn't yet. But
it's just a meeting. It's just an introduction.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony spoke before about that conversation with Bo saying, "Can we do this? Can we do this?" And I remember reading that episode in episode 10, going, "We can't do this. We can't do this. Please no."
I remember you called me. I remember when you called me. You're like, "Are we really?" Oh yeah, we're doing this.
There's depth there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We can be sneaky, but it's looking like there might be a wedding. Yeah.
Looking that way.
Oh, it's looking like there might be a wedding.
If you could write a wedding, you'd want to write a wedding, wouldn't you?
That's a good point. That makes me nervous.
In the trailer, okay. Tony.
Let's go to another live question here. Potentially. There we go. How does Mon's relationship with her daughter affect her character this season?
Again, is that season 1 or season 2?
Well, let's go.
Let's stay with season 1.
We're talking about season 1. We're in the season 1.
No, we're talking season 2.
It was lovely I remember it being revealed to me through the writing. It was lovely to find out that she had a daughter, that she had a family, that she had the intricate complexities of that family, the fact that her mom, who has herself escaped through her work and her life, escaped an orthodoxy, to learn that her daughter then leans into that orthodoxy, that is her choice. Those intergenerational complications or complexities. The relationship with Perrin, the fact that, you know, you have a husband who's allied to the Empire, with Mon working within Empire, funding resistance. That was all such, it was so revelatory, and it was such a joy to play and to wrestle with and to feel. And like we said before, she's quite constructed because she can't give too much away. But the idea that we went into her home, that we could see a home life, was just, it really opened her up, and it was such a good platform to work into season 2 and where we go, understanding the woman and all that she has to hold at home.
Yeah.
And anybody who is into the Leia Mon Mothma relationship, there's some more fun for them in the future. Yes, exactly.
There we go. Well, and just on that note, like, what has it been like for you, this character that we really knew so little about, to now have so much depth, and but also have the fans embrace her so much? You go to the conventions, people are dressed as Mon Mothma, people come up to you. I mean, what has that meant to you over the last however many years?
Do you know what? I think Tony will understand when I say that I was a little bit nervous. I was a little bit nervous how if people would kind of embrace this version of Mon Mothma, because it is different. And, you know, Tony really took risks in writing her like that. And so,
Neil, I heard that, but she said it very strange.
I'm so grateful that people hopped on this with us, that people really embraced it and embraced this version of Mon Mothma, this fractured woman. And I love her deeply. It's quite interesting, and I don't really know how I'm going to let her go.
Let it go.
So I'm so thankful to the fans for coming with us. And there's so much that I think you're going to love in season 2. So thank you.
That's so beautiful. You're getting me now. We're not supposed to be crying on the stream.
I'm not crying now. No.
So wonderful.
I'm over it.
I'm over it. Well, Genevieve, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure having you and chatting with you.
Who's next?
We cannot wait to see more of Mon Mothma's story in season 2. But we'll say goodbye for now.
Bye, Jen.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Genevieve.
Thank you so much. Oh, that character. I mean.
I know.
And that woman. I love her.
I know. I know.
Our final guest has arrived. Can you believe we're already to the final
guest?
I know, but I'm excited about this.
Who's number big 3? Stellan Skarsgård?
Well, he's straight from escaping Narkina 5 and ready to fight. We are joined by Melshi himself.
Oh,
Mr. Duncan Powell.
Hey, how are
Duncan?
you?
Hey, Duncan.
How you doing?
All right. Good, man. You know,
What's up, Duncan?
I'm gonna.
Oh, there's a
I got a surprise for you.
Oh, what is this?
I'm gonna just take this off without making noise on my microphone.
Quick
but
wardrobe change
you know,
for the stream.
I have my Narkina 5 swim team T-shirt on for today, brother.
That's awesome. I need one of these.
Oh, yeah.
Swim team.
Good to see you.
What do you think of that?
Thank you. I want to know where I can get one.
Yeah.
Click away. Exactly.
A click away. Duncan, good to see you. How exciting has it been for you to add to Melshi's story from Rogue One with Andor season 1?
He'll be in Andor season 2.
The biggest thing I think in my career that ever happened to me, you know, it was I've said it many times, and it's such a cliche, but to say it was a dream come true to actually go and visit his whole story, how he met Cassian, and take him from there all the way through to Rogue One, which is where I started. For me, it was a dream.
Yeah. What excited you most about you get the call Like, hey, we got an idea for you. What excited you most about expanding Melshi's story?
Being
Using
asked
the
to
best
do it,
arc.
I think, was the thing that excited me the most. Tony gave me a call, I think, just before I was about to travel to go and see some friends in another country, and then COVID happened. So I had this huge burst of excitement that I was going to be doing this amazing thing, and by the time I came back, we had to put it off for a little bit longer. But so I had a long time to be excited, which turned into nerves, and then eventually when we came to do it, was
Lee, what's up?
Yeah, it was everything I had wished for, really.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, why don't we check out a clip with Melshi and Cassian? So this is from episode 11, Daughter of Ferrix. They've just escaped from Narkina 5,
when they split up.
but find themselves in yet another pickle. Let's take a look.
Oh no, this is when they're yeah, this is good.
Looks like it's just these two. They didn't walk here. If we go
What do
right.
you remember?
I was saying, I remember this sequence had more meetings than almost any sequence in the whole film. Oh my God, how we're gonna do it, where we're gonna do it, why we're gonna do it, what's the tone of it, can it really be this funny, are you really gonna make it, and my attitude about it was it should be kind of like Sergio Leone meets the Coen brothers, this sequence. That's really what I want. This is very Sergio here. I love how it turned out. It shouldn't be this good. Right?
Shouldn't be this good.
For all the crap that went into this and all the questions, I love when he takes off. And
Was that in the script?
I don't know, but
we couldn't decide, and then I think Ben Karen just said, just get up and start running, and yeah, it was.
That's awesome.
And you guys run really well and funny at the same time, which is hard to do.
Do you know, the funny thing is, I had torn my meniscus about 3 or 4 weeks before we started filming this, and in the first take running down the hill, I think Diego tore his hamstring, so we were both injured.
Well, you
tore his meniscus and tore his hamstring. What the hell?
It makes me laugh. I watched it last night in the hotel. It makes me laugh again every time. I mean, oh my God, the Sturm and Drang that went into that. Really, I mean, all kinds of, were we going to even do it, and where were we going to do it, and who was going to pay for it, and oh my God. Would the nets work? Would the nets? How many nets did we try?
What was that made of?
It was made of I think it was silicone with glue. It was the glue, the stuff that they put on it, and as we were having it put on, they did say, just watch your eyes.
Just watch your eyes.
Let's look at another clip. This one's from episode 11. This is Melshi and Cassian making a promise to each other.
Yes, this is when they split up.
You got through? It's okay.
I mean,
well, this is acting. I mean, this is two really, really strong actors in a scene that's just, the musket is really packed here. And Ben Karen and Damien are finding a way to call back the end of Rogue One in ways I had never anticipated. It wasn't in the script that way. This is even where they put the horizon line.
Yep.
I mean, what Duncan's doing here, what Diego's doing here, it's just, I remember watching the dailies. Because I would watch dailies at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting up and having a cup of coffee and watching this and going, oh my God. And I know they're freezing cold. It's very cold. And there's a lot of blown takes here, but these takes that are in here, you're just going, it's what you dream about when you write about something. Can it be this heartbreaking?
Yeah, you had a nice little 5 a.m. cry there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean it's the balance too. Like there's so much uncertainty. That's sad. There's goodbye. There's hope at the same time.
Like we said before, this scene has a lot to do with what's coming in season 2.
Okay. Here we go.
You were cold that day, I know.
Yeah,
man.
What do you remember about that scene?
It was very cold. It was actually the first thing I shot on Andor, the first season, and it was Blackpool, it was a very cold day, and I remember thinking, I said to Diego at some point, "Can you hear what I'm saying? Because my lips feel like they don't work."
I know that feeling.
That's the first thing they shot was the last scene.
We saw a glimpse of Melshi in the trailer for season 2, and you teased also that there will be some implications from this scene. So what can we expect next season? Just putting you on the spot in front of Tony here.
what to expect.
Yeah.
Listen, you'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
He's like, I'm not spoiling it.
For me,
I'm not going to be the guy.
Season 2 was, for me personally, was a joining up of a journey that I started in 2016 and finished in 2023. And it's yeah, I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure if you're a fan, if you've seen season 1, if you're watching for the first time, for me, you'll be blown away by the journey that they take.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And your dynamic with Diego is amazing. What can you just share about that experience of working with him and collaborating on your relationship as characters?
For me, I learned every day that I was on the set with Diego, because just by paying attention and watching everything that he was aware of, you know, for me it was it really made me raise what I thought it meant to be an actor, which was to see it was every level of not just performance, but where to put ourselves, and as well what he gives Diego when you're working with him is for someone like me to come and work with him. It was a gift.
Absolutely. Let's why don't we jump into our last pre-recorded question?
I got a feeling we're getting a lot more Mel Sheen season 2.
Keep submitting those questions in the comments below, and we'll get to as many as we can. Until then, let's jump in to see what Star Wars Explained.
This one's me, guys. This one's me. Oh, no,
Hi,
my
I'm
Star Wars
Molly.
Explained.
And I'm Alex. And we're from the YouTube channel
I know
Star
these
Wars
guys.
Explained.
I actually know these
so
folks.
excited for Andor Season 2. We loved Season 1, actually just finished a rewatch of it. Our question for you is, how do you think releasing 3 episodes at a time this season is going to affect how audiences connect with the show?
See, now this is a great question.
Great question.
I think that it's really cool for us. It's how we
quadlogy.
made the show. So for us, it makes sense. We really feel like we made 8 Star Wars films over the last 5.5 years. So we make them in these blocks of 3. So they're being presented to the audience in the sort of digestible frame that we make them. I feel really sorry for all the podcasters. We've talked about this before, because it's like now they gotta it's gonna complicate some people's lives.
Thank you,
But
Tony.
I'm assuming you
complicated my
other
life.
people are like I am, and I watch things as randomly as anybody else does. So I mean, it offers the opportunity to watch any way you want.
Mhm.
But if you want the movie and you want the whole block and you want to eat it all at once, it's there for you.
Yeah, Tony, I'm sweating about my coverage plans.
know,
I gotta tell you.
Sorry.
But we love it. We love it. Okay, let's go to a few live questions here. I think we got one coming in. How did you approach playing a younger Melshi, given that he's so different to where we first saw him in Rogue One? I believe that's one for you, Duncan.
Yes. So, well, it was Tony, when we first had the phone call, gave me so much information about who Melshi was, and that really gave me an idea of the backstory from where he was to where he went to. Also, I think it helped that I had hair, which makes me always look a little bit younger. So
There you go.
I put it down to the planning of the hair and makeup, and Tony's writing and his information that he gave me before I went to.
Excellent.
There you go.
All right, let's go to another one. Live questions. Do you have a theory on why Melshi got put into... Oh, I love this one. Got put into the Narkina 5 prison by the Empire. Sounds like at this point in time it could have been literally anything.
I don't know.
Do you
Why
know?
is he? What's he in for?
I think, well, the thing I think with Melshi is he's someone that doesn't follow the rules. He doesn't like being told what to do, and he's not a great believer in, for me anyway, the way that I felt him was this idea of the Empire and the way in which everything for him was a refusal to believe what it is that he's told. And so whatever circumstance made him in a situation where someone told him to be or do or say something that he disagreed with, I would imagine would have ended him up in Narkina 5.
It was convicted of skepticism.
Okay.
There you go.
He's got a Did you know what it is? Do you like?
I've been convicted of skepticism
Well,
before,
yeah.
so I understand.
Yeah.
No.
All right, let's go to another one. That was a great question. I love it. Duncan, how intense are the scenes in Arcana 5? I mean, there's so much too that has to be conveyed with like just a look. I was thinking about that. Yeah, how intense were those scenes?
Those scenes were probably the most intense 7 weeks I've ever done on anything that I've ever worked on, because we were in the sets themselves were so claustrophobic, and they were the tunnels that we were in, and the fact that you have 100 men in these tunnels with no shoes on, it was an overwhelming environment, and because we were in there with the lights and for the 7 weeks, it felt like being in prison. So the intensity sort of ramped up as we went. In the beginning, when you go in and you see the sets and you see the design and you see everything that the team had built, it was a novelty. But then after about a week or two, it really started to weigh on us. It was oppressive for sure.
I mean, no shoes, huh?
In August.
No shoes in August. I mean, it's so...
In Pinewood.
I was thinking about, we were talking before this at was it Celebration last year, that everyone was dressed in there was a bunch of people dressed in the Narkina 5 and the One Way Out. It's amazing. It's amazing.
There's no fragrance called Narkina. I don't think anybody's going to come out with a perfume called Narkina.
I don't think it would. It doesn't sound like it would smell very good. I don't know. Duncan would know.
Well, it's not something I would want to go back to.
It's forever. Yeah, that's
it's forever.
Yeah, it's forever. Duncan, it has been such a pleasure having you on the
Pam.
stream. Any last final thoughts before we let you go?
Just thank you so much for having me, and I'm so looking forward to seeing season 2.
Me too. Me too, Duncan.
I've been a fan from when I was a young kid, so I can't wait for April.
We can't either. Well, thank you so much. We will say goodbye
40
for now.
days.
Good to see you, bro.
Thank you.
Bye, Duncan.
Oh my gosh. Okay, one more reminder for everyone at home. You got any questions for Tony? Put them in the comments. We'll get to as many as we can. But we have our final clip right now. And this is from
I don't think they're going to get to many of them.
episode 12, Rick's Road. Yeah, get your tissues ready. This clip hits pretty hard because it is Marvo's eulogy speech hollow.
The Empire is a disease that thrives in darkness. It is never more.
I said, do we just shut up through this one, you think?
But we didn't.
I just want to listen to it, you know?
Yeah.
I just want to listen to her talk.
I mean,
she is.
This is my favorite part of the whole show. This is Ferrex coming together in this incredibly wild, complicated community, and it's our community of the filmmakers, all the different departments. It's everybody contributing everything they have at the same time. Music, stunts, costume, production, the actors, the editing departments. This is everything we have in the bag.
And they kick my boy.
They kick me too, I know. I mean, that is, people say, what's your favorite episode? That's my favorite episode because it's just such a showcase for everybody all at once. And the amount of coordination and the amount of work, and I hope we're making the work sound fun. Like, you don't want to be like, oh, we work and we work so hard.
Yeah.
It's not like, it
it's
is that.
payoff.
I mean, a lot of late nights and early mornings, and a lot of people, but a happy company is when people really feel that what they're making is arriving, and they're not wasting their time making stuff that isn't seen or shown, and that everything is that you say you're going to get on camera, you get on camera, and that what you're going for, everyone knows they're going for. And that sequence, I mean, that's as complicated. We've done some complicated filmmaking over the years. That's as complicated a piece of filmmaking as I've ever been involved in, and. Ben Karen, who directed it, and Damian, who's shooting it, they're piggybacking on what John Gilroy and I have learned on other movies about massive. So we're sort of overlording any help we can give, and then that's filtering down through them, and it's through all the departments. And when it pays off, and it works, and you feel something.
Yeah.
When all the mechanical conversations and all the meetings and everything happens, and finally when all of that leads to something that's emotional, it's I guess that's why we do it. I mean, that's why, it's the fun of doing it.
Yeah, wonderfully said. Let's go to a few of those live questions. Thank you guys so much for submitting those. I think we have. What was the most creatively fulfilling aspect of working on Andor? It might be what you said,
I think what I just said. I mean, I got involved with this not knowing what I was doing at all. Once I was in it and it started to reveal itself what it was going to be, I regretted it terribly, and I was terrified of what I had done and ruined my life. When COVID happened and I suddenly thought I had an out. I didn't have to do the show. I would be able to get out of it. But then it began to rebuild, and it began to rebuild in a way that I could at least start to take the kind of control over it that I should have had in the beginning. And we managed to make a system through the whole COVID, the beginnings of COVID and starting to shoot again, where I found what the right job for me on the show was, which was I didn't have time to direct, and to be able to do everything else that I wanted to do. And over time, my anxiety about what we were doing was just completely eroded by the thrill of getting to make all this stuff with all these cool people and have, Disney and Lucasfilm back our play and give us the resources that we needed to do it, and back our, all of our crazy ideas and all the things that we were going to do. And I mean, I grew to love it as it went on. It wasn't a love at first sight, that's for sure. It was really, but that's
interesting.
I hope you feel from the answers that we've all given that we really, we can learn and you can build, and when you feel like you're going for something that might be worth it, maybe it's about something, maybe it's really worth it. What a great way to spend your time on the planet.
Does going to season 2, it's different? Like, do you feel like it's senior year, you're more confident, exactly
Yeah, we want it, but we also feel like, oh my God, we better not get confident. We better not be smoking our own shit here. We better really, holy crap, we put the bar down here and we're going to get crushed if we don't deliver. We're going to really, and we've seen, you see all the other shows, you see other shows where people had trouble sticking the landing and you're like, oh my God, we have to so.
Gotta stick the landing.
There's a new pressure, but then there's also, you do have the pride of what you did before, and you have a system that works. So we carried that forward. Yeah.
All right, let's go to another live question. Luthen is a morally gray character. What inspiration did you draw from to craft his personality and backstory?
This is the same as with every character. I think the easiest thing to say is, imagine you just have a pencil and a piece of paper and you're going to start to draw somebody, and you're just going to, your little pieces and you don't like what that looks like, and you erase it and you start over again. And it's really small things. And I needed an organizer. I needed a recruiter. I needed somebody who was at the center of something. I needed a new mysterious character. What would he be like? Well, what's a cool job for that? Oh my God, what if you had a what's the kind of job that gives you access to all kinds of things and also plugs you in and puts you in Coruscant? God, what if he has a gallery? What if he has an antique gallery? And then once, that just leads to all kinds of other things. Well, he needs a sidekick, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And how's he going to do this? And how long has he been doing it? And there's a lot of things about Luthen that I did not know until we started writing season 2. So those things we'll learn a lot about Luthen, who he was before, but we'll also, in season 2,
he said what now?
See a guy who built a startup company in his garage, and in Aldhani he goes public, and it's going to be the stress of how do you take your little revolution and all the work you've done for 15 years, how do you go public with that, and how do you go large?
Okay.
And that's really the stress. So
he just said we're going to get to see Luthen's backstory in season 2, or at least learn about his backstory.
I think we have one more final live question here.
That's pretty wild.
For Tony Gilroy, how do you balance the morality of the characters in Andor, especially those like Cyril and Dedra?
I don't balance anything. I don't.
Answer: I don't.
I don't have a ledger or I'm not. They're who they are. When you're writing any character, you want to be with them. We're all the heroes of our own story.
Right.
We all.
No one believes that.
No, and
no one believes they're the
we're all
villain.
the victims of our own insecurities, I've never been able to. I don't see the purpose of how you would write a character with an agenda. I want to write this character because I want them to do this thing. You may say, oh, I need somebody who's going to be dark, or like I said, I need a Luthen who's going to be a recruiter and a revolutionary. But with Cyril and Dedra, the same thing. They revealed themselves along the way as you're writing them, and you just want them to be fascinating and truthful. You want to be able to believe that the things that they do and the changes that they make, and season 2 will see all kinds of new stresses on them, that everything is truthful, that if people have been watching all the way from the beginning and invested in it, that they don't feel burned. It's always weird when you see a character and their IQ goes up and down based on what the writer wants them to do. I'm trying to, you want to have it, oh my God, of course that's what you want it to be surprising and inevitable. And and it's a big adventure that all these characters are. I mean, it's an adventure story, really, beyond all the stuff that we talk about, all the complications of character and behavior. In the end, these are a bunch of hopefully really interesting people cast in a really vivid adventure story.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for that question, and thank you all for all of those questions throughout the stream. But we're gonna say goodbye in a second. But we actually have a special message from a surprise guest. Chiefly,
Diego Luna.
Who could it be?
It's Diego Luna.
Hi, Andor fans.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for tuning in to revisit Season 1. It was such a joy to return as Cassian after Rogue One for the first season of Andor. I'm incredibly grateful for your continued support of this hero's journey. A lot of love went into making this series, and you have no idea what's in store. I can't wait for you to see what happens next in the last season of Andor. Join the Rebellion April 22nd on Disney+. May the Force be with you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wow.
Can't have a show without
Didn't know that was happening.
without Andor himself,
There it is, man.
Diego. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you to everyone at home for reliving this moments with us, and thank you to our guests, and thank you to Tony
Thank you.
Gilroy.
You did a really good job.
Oh my gosh, thank
I was
you.
very
I got
nervous
pen
about
all over my
this.
pants. Look at that.
I was very nervous about this. All right.
We cannot wait for season 2. Do you have any final thoughts, words, comments?
Man, just you could smell when people are excited to show you something.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're feeling it.
I'm definitely feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
we're
feeling it.
excited.
The energy is palpable.
All right.
Oh, well, April 22nd cannot get here fast enough. Until then, let's check out the season 2 featurette, and we'll see you later.
Oh, wait, what? Featurette? Oh.
Emergency broadcast. If you can hear me.
Let's watch it again.
We are not who we were when we started.
It's the exact same one.
Imperial ships are already landing.
We need to speak out. We need to stand up.
Is there no one who can help us?
We need a pilot. A soldier.
Everything I did for the rebellion.
Revolutionary movements are spontaneously happening all over the galaxy. How those come together is the stuff of our story.
If season 1 laid the track, then season 2 is the juggernaut.
The Empire cannot win.
Well, they haven't won yet.
We're building a real army.
The rebellion's everywhere now.
Galaxy of opportunities.
The insurgents have weapons at this point.
We're counting on it.
These 12 episodes are going to take us over the next 4 years into Rogue One. The complexity of the show, the possibilities of the show. It has to be all in.
Nobody's allowed in here.
Are you thinking like a thief?
I'm thinking like a soldier.
Think like a leader.
The size and scale of this production is unparalleled. The sets and the costumes are breathtaking.
Everyone does the homework. Everyone takes the time, and you can tell.
proceed.
This is it. This is what you live for.
It's human. It's incredibly truthful. And it just happens to be in a galaxy far, far away.
It's the urgency of the situation. Not palpable.
Lock it down!
If we do not stand together, we will be crushed.
This is the end.
This is the end.
No expectations.
So good. So good, chat. There you have it. There you have it. Pretty damn cool. Thank you to Tony Gilroy and Disney for saving my voice today for the second half of our stream. That was fantastic. Getting to see Bix, Mon Mothma, Melshi, and even Diego Luna, Cassian Andor himself was pretty damn cool. Not a lot of teases at season 2, but a couple. Getting to learn about Luthen's backstory is pretty cool. Of course, getting the whole Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding type thing. All that stuff. It's going to be pretty damn cool. And Melshi having a way bigger role in season 2. It's going to be awesome. I mean, there's no doubt about that. This show is 40 days away, and I can't freaking wait. But yeah, that was, I mean, couldn't be better timing. Literally could not be better timing. The first start of this stream, I thought my voice was going to go. I still think my voice is going to go. And we got Tony Gilroy and some cast and crew of the Andor Season 2 to step in and take over the live stream. So I appreciate that. Yeah, this is absolutely insane. I yelled at you today? What? Oh, yeah, you guys were going crazy. Let's not forget here, we're the people who love Star Wars. We're not the people who crap on other people for whatever they do. I don't care. Yeah, I don't really watch many other Star Wars streamers. Really none, except for the people that have been on their shows and stuff like that. So, yeah. But 40 days until Andor Season 2. 40 days. And I can't freaking wait. But we do have to get on out of here. We've passed way past our usual time limits on these live streams. Interestingly enough, though, this has swayed towards the no. I left that Han Solo thing in this in the chat. And most of you say no. 59% of you say no. That's interesting. I think yes, and I'm going to make a full-on video as to why I think yes, but well, you got to wait for that. Watch out for a short in about 45 minutes or something like that. Watch out for that short. It's a pretty great one, actually. I'm very interested to see what you guys think about it. But this is a fun stream. Again, shout out to Disney and Star Wars for doing that. That's fan-freaking-tastic. Anything to get more hyped up. And it's great to hear Tony Gilroy, call us out. One more time? All right, one more time. One more time, chat. One more time. So good. Okay, smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you know you know the deal. Okay, but until next time, may the force be with you always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you sticking around with my stupid voice sounding like this, and I hate it, but it's okay. Hopefully by Saturday stream, my voice will be back. I might just have to go on a silent retreat tomorrow, but we'll find out. You guys want to hear something crazy? Samantha is at Galaxy's Edge right now. Yeah. How about that? She's at Galaxy's Edge right now without me. But that's whatever. She's sending me pictures right now, so I'm going to go get on the phone with her and talk about it because that's awesome and I'm jealous. But yeah, it's pretty wild. We'll have to get her input on it when she gets back on a live stream. So actually Saturday she'll be back. So we'll talk to her on Saturday about it. But until next time, smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody.